Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this video is about which zodiac, sidereal or tropical, which one should I use? So I'm going to describe a bit about the bases and usages of the two zodiacs, and then end up with a study proposal. And by the way, I'm talking to you from the far west of Ireland, where Maggie and I, or near where Maggie and I run a healing centre and Airbnb. And that's why I'm doing the video in this beautiful setting. So, there are two zodiacs which I use in particular, and I use them in all my readings and all my courses. We offer many courses, readings and healings worldwide, as well as locally here in the west of Ireland. So the first zodiac I'd like to look at is the tropical zodiac of Western astrology. Now the tropical zodiac has as its start point North Aries, and that is wherever the sun is on the first day of spring, the vernal equinox. Now, I firmly say that I believe that being sun sign based, this zodiac, the tropical zodiac, depicts our psychology, our psychological experience, our psychological self, how we will experience predicted events psychologically. And so I would say that the tropical zodiac depicts our egoic self. And therefore it's a wonderful basis for looking at our psychology, our psychosynthesis, the principle of individuation, getting to know the different parts of ourselves so that we can be more fully aware, so that some of them aren't coming into manifestation and we don't understand where the impetus is coming from, so that we can indeed seek to manage our egoic self under will from a basis of perception. And so my readings and courses always include the Western astrology tropical zodiac depiction of self. And I would say that I'm a great believer in evolutionary astrology within Western astrology, which was really invented by Martin Schulman, and that depicts our incarnational destiny, how from past lives we have a direction and script towards our future in this life, and how certain issues, often depicted by planets square the nodal axis, depict missed steps from previous life that need extra work this time. But I must make the point that even Western evolutionary astrology depicts our incarnational astrology in a psychological way, how we will experience that psychologically. And I think that's a very important point. It uses the tropical zodiac, it's psychologically based. Now, Vedic astrology, by contrast, traditionally uses the sidereal zodiac. Now, the basis of the sidereal zodiac is that it's anchored to a so-called fixed star, Spica, which sets the point for 0 degrees sidereal Libra. And in my opinion, because Vedic astrology is anchored to the eternal, to the vastness of the stars, not to the moving position of the vernal equinox position of the sun, whereas Western astrology depicts our egoic psychology, being sun sign based, Vedic astrology depicts our incarnational life purpose. And our egoic self and our psychology is just a part of our incarnational life purpose. We must have a sense of self, because otherwise we can't function in the world. But the sense of self can be a limitation it's a boat to get us across the river. It's not the other side of the river. And so Vedic astrology will indeed depict facets of our egoic self. The nakshatras of Vedic astrology are absolutely wonderful for depicting our egoic self, warts and all, supreme potential and all. But our egoic self is not the whole story of us, and indeed, in a way, it's an illusion. It's not real. Underlying this world, Mahamaya, is the ultimate reality. Shiva and Shakti endlessly mating. Lord Shiva dancing new universes in and out of being, from creation to destruction. Lord Vishnu dreaming universes in and out of being endlessly. And so what I want to say is that Vedic astrology depicts in an awesomely exact and vast way the reality of our incarnation, the scripts we incarnated to work with this time, and the sort of identity with which we'll work with them. And in my opinion, it absolutely mustn't be world-denying. We incarnate here in this world for specific purposes, to burn negative karmas and to manifest our own special sparks of destiny, our achievements we're born to manifest this time. And Vedic astrology depicts that in an awesomely accurate and vast way. Okay, so how do we handle the differences between the two zodiacs? Well, basically the difference is the ayanamsha, the number of degrees difference between the two zodiacs. The point is, because of precession of the equinoxes, the position of the sun on the first day of spring moves by a degree every 72 years. And so the zodiacs actually diverge during our lifetime. So if we live to age 72, they diverge by a degree. And the difference is called the ayanamsha. Now, I want to say something I feel is really important. I find the Lahiri ayanamsha works. Okay, let me tell you why it works. I'm not arguing from formula here. I'm well aware of the debates on ayanamsha use, but I'm speaking from an authentic position of the heart. So basically, I'm sorry, someone just went past. So basically, the Lahiri ayanamsha of Vedic astrology depicts most accurately my personal life script and my reality. And I found that if I try to use other ayanamshas, or if I try to use the tropical zodiac in Western astrology, it gets it wrong for me. So, okay, let me just explain that. My moon, using the Sidereal zodiac and the Lahiri ayanamsha, is at 29 degrees 56 Pisces at the very end of Revati. So it's in that very difficult Gandanta zone where one can't have confidence that this world is substantial and real. It's tense, it's insecure, but it can be connected to the vastness and can be inspirationally intuitive if you can handle it. Okay, so what's important about that? Why is it true for me? Why, speaking from my heart, do I say I must use the Sidereal zodiac with the Lahiri ayanamsha to depict my reality as described by Vedic astrology, not my psychology as depicted by Western astrology? Well, that is this. Well, first of all, yes, let's put it like this. My moon at 2956 Pisces so accurately depicts the circumstances I was born into. My mother was homeless in a foreign country. She had been expelled from a land girl camp for being pregnant, although not married. She was only allowed into hospital a few hours to give birth because she wasn't a citizen of the country. And so I was born at the very end of Mercury Dasha, Mercury predictive period. And at 6 weeks later, Mercury predictive period, Mercury Dasha gave way to Ketu Dasha. And that's one of the difficult things about being born with your moon in the Gandanta, because you'll experience a very early Dasha change in the wonderful predictive periods of Vedic astrology. And of course, you're desperately young to handle such an energy shift, whatever it is. But the fascinating and important thing is that on the actual day I moved from Mercury Dasha to Ketu Dasha, to Ketu predictive period, I was put in a convent orphanage. In fact, one of the infamous Bon Secours convent orphanages that the Irish government are holding an inquiry into following discovery of the skeletons of many orphans thrown into cesspits at a convent orphanage near here, in fact, and at the time of my birth and before and after it. And so I experienced Ketu. Well, Ketu cracks this world open so that we can see its spiritual insubstantialness, so that we can be offered a gateway to supreme divine connection and truth. And indeed, I was in Ketu Dasha until I was nearly 5, and I didn't have a home. I didn't have a fixed address until then. And how amazing, when I went into the next Dasha, Venus predictive period at nearly 5, I had a home. Because Venus is more about sort of wealth and comforts and so forth. So, you see, it's very important to me to use the Sidereal zodiac and the Lahiri Ayanamsha, because otherwise it would put my moon in the wrong position. For example, it could say that I was born with moon in early Aries. That's nonsense. You can hear from the circumstances of my birth. I'm a Pisces Gandanta moon. It fits my whole psychology. So that's one reason. And the second reason is, if you do get the wrong zodiac and wrong Ayanamsha, all your dashas, your predictive periods, will start and end on different dates, and they give the wrong result to me. I have to say that. But there are other considerations too. Vedic astrology has a wonderful system of karikas for planets, or charakarikas, or movable indicators. And your planet of highest longitude in any sign is your Atma karika, your soul indicator. The planet that contains a message that you particularly incarnated to get right in this lifetime. Sidereal zodiac, Lahiri Ayanamsha makes my Atma karika the moon. If I use the wrong Ayanamsha or the wrong zodiac and push my moon into Aries, moon ceases to be my Atma karika. But it most surely is, because the greatest of the difficult lessons in my life has been about mothering. If you have moon as Atma karika, mother isn't there for you. And that is a script that you have to learn to live with. It's impossible, I feel, to heal. And you have to, in fact, stop being devastated by it and mother yourself in this incarnation. And so, of course, it's really important to know which are my chara karikas, my movable indicators, which is my Atma karika. And then there's the Vargas, the wonderful divisional charts of Vedic astrology, each of which refers to a specific area of life or existence or consciousness. And of course, if I don't use the Lahiri Ayanamsha and the Sidereal zodiac, my Varga charts don't in fact depict those special areas of my life as accurately. And of course, you need to be able to use them to predict, what will happen at future times in your life. So, okay, what am I saying? I'm saying that I believe the tropical zodiac of Western astrology is about our psychology and our psychological experience of reality. Crucial to actually know about. And I'm saying that the Sidereal zodiac of Vedic astrology depicts our incarnational destiny. crucial to know about. Indeed, it was finding out how Vedic astrology depicted the unusual circumstances of my birth that made me add Vedic astrology to my existing Western astrology practice. And my first course was with a teacher who married the use of the two zodiacs, Richard Houck, in his Astrology of Death courses, and he's got a really good book which marry the use of the two zodiacs for predictive purposes. And I'm working with a really wonderful student in California who also is following that book. So, where does this leave us? Well, I actually feel that what's really important is respectful study of what do the two zodiacs actually depict. What do they actually predict? Am I right in saying that the tropical zodiac is about our egoic psychology and its experience of things, and the sidereal zodiac is about our incarnational life purpose and destiny, of which our egoic psychology is a part? And so I actually teach courses in both Western and Vedic astrology, and I offer the possibility of crossover for those who want it. I have the most wonderfully able students all over the world. And so in the foundation Vedic astrology course, where we would look at charakarikas, those movable indicators, I'm very open to the student looking at what Vedic astrology using tropical zodiac says and what Vedic astrology using the traditional sidereal zodiac says. I do a predictive Vedic astrology course, which is partly a statement, like a pure predictive astrology, a statement of the techniques, but also encompasses applied Vedic predictive astrology, looking at particular life events of yours and seeing what the indicators are. There are well-rehearsed indicators for the questions, will she give birth to a child? Will he get a job? Will she marry? All those sort of things. There's well-established techniques. If you wish in these courses, you can apply them using the sidereal zodiac, and you can also apply them using the tropical zodiac. And that way you'll see, well, what do they actually predict? Is one more accurate than the other, or do they predict different slices of our human existence, different facets of our consciousness and psychology? So, what I personally am asking for is sort of respectful research and discussion. We don't want sort of groups taking sides. We don't want Gemini and formula. What we want on this important issue of tropical or sidereal zodiac is the big picture. Thank you.